Good evening, everyone. Today, I'd like to address a topic that has become increasingly prominent in public discourse: the treatment of transgender youth, specifically in the context of medical interventions such as hormone blockers and surgeries. Before diving in, I want to make it clear that this discussion is not about questioning the existence or validity of transgender people. Everyone deserves respect and the right to live their life authentically. However, when it comes to children and irreversible medical decisions, I believe we need to tread with extreme caution. In recent years, there has been a significant shift in how society views gender identity, particularly among young people. For some, identifying as transgender is a deeply personal and essential part of who they are. But when it comes to medical treatments, like hormone blockers and surgeries, that can have lifelong effects, I believe we need to consider the implications carefully, especially when these decisions are made by minors. Let's start with hormone blockers, which are often presented as a pause button, giving young people time to explore their gender identity without the pressure of developing secondary sexual characteristics. On the surface, this might seem like a reasonable approach. However, it's important to recognize that even pausing puberty can have significant consequences, both physically and psychologically. The long-term effects of these treatments are not fully understood, and there is ongoing debate in the medical community about their safety and appropriateness, particularly for children. In the UK, we've seen a growing number of young people referred to gender identity clinics, and with this rise, concerns have been raised about whether children are being rushed into life-altering decisions. Last year, the High Court ruled that children under 16 are unlikely to be able to give informed consent to hormone blockers due to the complexity and long-term consequences of the treatment. This ruling underscores a fundamental principle. Children are not simply small adults. Their ability to understand the full implications of such decisions is limited, and as such, they require protection from making choices that could irreversibly affect their future. When it comes to surgery, the stakes are even higher. Surgical interventions like mastectomies or genital surgeries are irreversible. Once done, they cannot be undone. While these surgeries may be appropriate for some adults who are certain of their gender identity, applying the same logic to children who are still developing both physically and mentally is deeply concerning. In the UK, surgeries for minors are not commonly performed, and rightly so. We must ask ourselves, can a child truly comprehend the permanence of such a decision? There is also the issue of societal pressure and the potential for regret. It's no secret that adolescence is a tumultuous time, with young people navigating a complex landscape of identity, self-esteem, and peer influence. In such a vulnerable period, we need to ensure that any decisions made are truly in the best interest of the child and not driven by external factors or temporary feelings. Now, some might argue that denying these treatments is akin to denying a child their true self. But I would counter that waiting until a person is mature enough to make an informed decision is not a denial. It's a safeguard. A safeguard to ensure that they fully understand the path they are choosing with all its consequences before embarking on it. In conclusion, while I fully support the rights of transgender individuals to live as they wish, I believe that when it comes to children, we must be exceptionally careful. The debate isn't about whether transgender people have the right to exist. Of course they do. It's about whether children are equipped to make decisions that will permanently alter their bodies and lives. As adults, it is our responsibility to protect them, ensuring that any decisions made are done so with a full understanding of the lifelong implications. Thank you for listening, and I hope this has provided some food for thought on a complex and sensitive issue.